Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to the market close. What a day. What a day. We do have a green day on at least on the TSX. We are looking at red south of the border. So we'll we'll talk about all of that, of course. Oh boy. I can't believe August is almost over. We're getting to the nitty-gritty. Tomorrow, in fact, we're so deep in the month that tomorrow we have our channel members live stream at 7 p.m. So if you're a channel member, be sure to join me for that. If you want to come along and you're not a channel member, well, channel membership it's actually less than a cup of coffee. So feel free to join up and check it out. Or the other option is I do make these available 1 year after they air. So tomorrow night's show will be available for everybody in August of 2026. So that's the other option as well. I'm still looking. I've got a couple of suggestions for what you guys want to talk about tomorrow. So it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. I always try to put some good content in it because I know a year from now everybody else is going to get an opportunity to see it. So what can we do? What can we do? All right, guys, let's get right away into the charts. So I'm going to pull this up. As you can see, green day, we're up 0.28% in Canada. Now, if you look at this chart, though, you can kind of see we're kind of caught in this little bit of a range here. So the TSX, it's kind of going sideways. We're in the green, but I will call this a little bit of a flat market. If I'm being completely honest, this is a flat market. But we're at least in the green, and we're well above this blue line. So anybody new to the channel and you're like, what's that blue line? That's where we entered the month. So as long as we're above the blue line, it means we're having a green month. So August so far is a green month. It's looking good. We still have about 2 weeks left, so we'll see if we can stay above that line. Looking south of the border, we got the S&P 500. They are in the red a little bit today, 0.16. Now, mind you, and you can sort of see here, this big red candle, that's today. That's the first half of the day. They've been making their way back to the positive. So there's still 15 minutes left. They could get back into the green, and they're above that blue line as well. So they're having a green month, but I'll tell you, it wouldn't take much to push them beneath that line. Now, a lot of the red that the U.S. market is seeing is all tech related. So there's a little bit of trouble going on, but it's not quite as bad as you think. So let's take a look at the NASDAQ. Oh boy. Yeah, the NASDAQ is down 0.56%. They just got back above the blue line for the month. They dove into negative territory for most of this day. So we'll have to see. Now, what's going on with tech? It's actually one thing. We got this thing coming called September. Now, September is one of these months that traditionally can be a little bit rough on the market. So what we're seeing right now is when tech was, of course, having a lot of all-time highs, we're starting to see some of the institutional investors reshuffling their portfolios a little bit. So taking some tech profits and putting them into more stable, I don't want to say more stable, but into more defensive stocks as we move into September. So they're trying to shore things up. So the results is that, well, this is what happened to the NASDAQ. And of course, because tech stocks have such high market caps, they make up a good chunk of the S&P 500 as well. So that's pulling both of these exchanges down a little bit. It's nothing to be worried about, though. Tech is not going into another bear market as we speak. This is simply that reshuffling as people are a little bit worried about September. Now, September is also, if I believe I'm correct on this, I think September is in the United States one of those months as well where taxes come into play. So a lot of businesses are paying taxes too. So that also tends to be partially why September tends to be a red month. But keep in mind too, September, their reputation is bigger than it deserves to be because a lot of bad things have happened in September. We have seen the financial crisis. So back in 2008, the housing market collapsed in September. There was this one September where airplanes hit buildings. That absolutely wrecked the U.S. economy as well. So there's been a lot of things. There's been a lot of things that happen in September. So September's, yeah, it is traditionally red, but I think the numbers are skewed a little bit deeper than they really should be. All right, the Dow Jones is the glimmer of hope. The glimmer of hope in the United States. They're in the green. So they are up 0.11. And then all of our little stocks down here in the Russell, they're down 0.30. Now, where the heck is that blue line? There's the blue. Whoops. Uh-oh. I don't know what I just did. Oh, I think I pulled. All right. Let's give me a second here. There we go. I don't think you guys got to see it on your screen. I somehow pulled a tab off of the screen, then had it blocking my whole screen. So that's fixed. It's fixed. But you can see the Russell's actually having a pretty good month. So their blue line pretty far down. All right, looking at commodities, looking good. What happens to commodities when everybody is pulling things and putting them in safe places? So if you take those institutional investors who are pulling some of their profits out of tech, where do you think they're putting them? Things like gold. Gold is definitely a popular place. And we can see gold is up 1%. Let's just pull up the gold chart. Yeah, I mean, look, you can sort of see that this line matches pretty much, not matches, it's the exact opposite of what happened on the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, more importantly. Same idea with silver. Silver up 1.45%. Oil's looking really good today, up 1.81%. I am liking it. I was reading an article earlier today on the Globe and Mail. Somebody was an analyst was mentioning that they're very, very bullish right now on natural gas for about the next 6 months. And they're thinking 2026, they're going to switch that bullishness right back to oil because 2026 could be a good year for oil. I'm still reserved on that, but we'll find out. We will absolutely find out. Of course, crypto also looking good today. Bitcoin up 1.11, Ethereum up 6.56. All right, let's switch over to those heat maps. We got our Canada heat map up here, and you could see energy, whether it be non-energy minerals or some of the industrial services, they're all looking good. Like, look at this. Enbridge up 2.03%. Franco-Nevada up 2.66%. Kinross up 2.35%. I don't see. Oh, here it is. There's my London Gold up 2.22%. So they're looking pretty good. Railroads, they're both down. CP down 0.51, CNR down 0.21. Oh, CNR. I long for the days when you were in the green. So let's hope. When we switch over to the US, you can see the tech story that I've been talking about. It is very, very prominent. Nvidia down 0.53%. That was much deeper this morning. Apple down 1.81. Microsoft's down. Google's down. Tesla's down. Amazon down 1.59%. And over here in the world of crypto, we got some green happening. It's a pretty good day. Not a lot of things are down, but yeah, look at this. Solana's up 5.57. XRP having a good day, up 2.81. Of course, not everybody is having a good day. Whoa, I don't know what this is. Alchemy Pay. There we go. This is what I'm trying to do. Gonna just drag ourselves down. I like to highlight a crap coin. So there are quite literally, and you can see all of these little squares are coins. There's more than 10,000. There's more than 15,000 altcoins out there. I like to just highlight some crap coin that's doing the opposite of whatever the market's doing. Let's pick this one. What is this? Nas.ai. So this is interesting. This one, I'll tell you why this is interesting. The .ai. Does this mean that they're trying to capitalize on AI? Maybe. I would be highly skeptical of this one. I will tell you right now, the words rug pull come to mind when I see somebody trying to capitalize on something like any kind of trend like AI. So yeah, I would be really worried. I would be weary. I would also be worried too. This is one that scares me right away. And this was random, guys. I did not pick this on purpose, but yeah, a lot of these crap coins, they can be alluring. Some of them can look like they might be that next big coin that's going to make you into a millionaire. But chances are they're just going to take your money and run. I mean, look at this. This here is a coin right now. It's worth, 4/100th of a cent. It's not worth much. I would be leery of these. If you do want to dabble in some of these, at least read the white paper. Make sure you know what you're getting into. And make sure you're only playing with money you can afford to lose. Because you might. And you probably will. You probably will lose it. There's lots of money to be made in crypto. But stick to your big coins. Stick to the tried and true coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, and heck, even Dogecoin. All right. It's time to get caught up with chat. Holy banana bread. I'm going to bring me back up. And Brian, you have the pleasure of being chatter number 1. And we got good afternoon, everyone. Kelly says hello all. Carl says hey. All right, thoughts on the new HHIH. I have a decent position in HHIS and now I'm unsure. So yeah, HHIH. It's basically just HHIS without, my understanding is without the leverage. I'm not sure about the covered calls. I'd have to dig a little deeper on HHIH. I'm pretty sure it's just without the leverage. So it's kind of like if you look at, so HHIS, it has all the enhanced versions of those funds. So HHIH, my understanding is it's going to be holding all of the non-enhanced, so just the simple covered call ones. But anybody else who has done their research on HHIH, because I haven't, I'm admitting it, let me know if I'm right. I think I'm right. I'm pretty sure I'm right. All right. Carl says, woo. And Double A is in for a good afternoon. All right. Kelly says, wasted an hour searching around Wealthsimple on the app trying to add beneficiaries only to find out it can only be done on the desktop. I did not know that. That's interesting. Guys, if any of you want to add a beneficiary on Wealthsimple, Kelly has already done the legwork for you. Go to the desktop. I'm surprised. I'm really surprised because normally I find the desktop has less functionality than the app, the phone app, or I guess the tablet app. So that's kind of weird. Oh, by the way, guys, we have a bell coming up. The market's closing in about a minute. So just letting you know, in 1 minute, we're going to have a little bit of a ringing on the line. And Jim is here with a hey there. Hello, Jim. Always good to see you. Joe is in the house with a hi, everyone. Hey, Joe. It's been a while, but always like to see Joe. Joe is awesome. Let's see. Lots of tech pullback this week. Absolutely. And as I mentioned, this tech pullback, it's not because people are worried about tech. It's basically that fear of September. September is that month when, well, the markets traditionally tend to be red, and a lot of people, and it makes sense. You know what? If something is at all-time highs, you think there's a bad month ahead and you want to pull some profits off the table and put them into something a little bit more defensive, that's a very, very, very valid strategy. So nothing to worry about, but we're kind of seeing it this week in the market. And we got the wonderful Mary in the house with a good afternoon. And of course, we've also got the bell. The market's closed, guys. There we go. We got Mary, we got a bell, and also the like button. All three together. So guys, if you've not yet hit that like button, Mary will tell you, do it. Just do it. It's good for the channel, it's good for the algorithm, and it makes Mary happy. And we all want to make Mary happy. So hit that like button. Jim is already letting Mary know that he has got the like in. Awesome, 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 awesome. And I didn't even get to have, I'm taking it right now. I normally have a sip of coffee when you guys are hitting the like button after Mary lets you know. Oh God, that's so good. All right. Brian says, I've taken a hit on my Palantir. Apparently someone is starting to look at PE ratio. At $40, it was overvalued by normal standards. I'm still bullish. Overall, I'm still bullish on Palantir. Like, there's still a lot. I think there's going to be so much money flying into defense. It's going to be, you know what? I'm not worried about their numbers. I think Palantir is going to be crazy over the next few years. All right, we got Rory in the afternoon. Sorry, Rory in the house saying afternoon. All right, Mark. Mark is in the house. How are things in Kingston? I believe you're in Kingston, Mark. Hi, Candace. Thanks for the NASDAQ September update. I'm feeling better now. Yeah, and that's the thing, guys. The market's going to do stuff. The market will have red periods. Some days you're going to look at things and you're going to wish you hadn't even started the internet. Well, I guess nobody starts the internet anymore. Those were the days back when we had dial-up. Oh boy. But yeah, there's going to be days like that. Here's the thing. You know what? There's days when it doesn't. It's okay to just sort of turn off the news, turn off whatever, move away from the data. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, I mean, tech will be fine on the other side. We also have coming up at the end of the month, we got the NVIDIA earnings call. And I actually think that's going to give tech a little bit of a pump in the arm because I am still pretty bullish on that. So, and that'll be on one of these market closes, by the way. Oh, you know what I forgot to turn on? Guys, I'm terrible. I'm terrible. All right, I'll just tell you guys. We don't need the night bot, but it's tradition around here that on the Wednesday shows, if we get throughout the course of the show, if we get either 4 supers or 4 gifted subs or a combination, then we add an extra show. So we add a Friday market close. So if you guys want that, you know what to do. You know what to do. I'll maybe remind you guys a little bit later. All right. Palantir took a hit. So as HHIS. Yeah. I mean, that's one of the key holdings in HHIS. So, plus, I mean, look at HHIS. This is the one thing about HHIS is that a lot of those high income shares, a lot of them are tech related. So when tech takes a little bit of a swing on the red side, well, HHIS really doesn't have much of a choice. That's one of the things, like, if you guys watched the video where I was introducing some of the new ones that they're coming out with, so the whole HHIC and the ones that come with that, HHIC would actually be doing fine today. Not just because it's Canada, but because of the way it's diversified. It's not tech heavy. It's, it's got, actually, if it's heavy on anything, it might be, well, you could argue maybe energy, but not really. It's pretty well diversified. I like HHIC. So But I still like HHIS. I still like tech overall. Tech always bounces back. Jonathan says, hold that bell. I'm on the way. I hope you made it in time. I hope you made it in time. Oil inventories changed in the U.S., hence the uptick. That would make sense. Yeah, absolutely. I don't mind it. I don't mind seeing a little bit of an uptick in oil. That's for sure. Max is in the house with a good afternoon. And we got Paul. Yes, the only thing positive in my portfolio is IBIT and SSK. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, crypto's doing pretty good today for sure. Mohammed says, hello, how are you doing? I'm doing fantastic. How are you? I'm pretty, I think I've seen you before. I think you've been here before, Mohammed, but if not, welcome. I'm pretty sure, though. I'm pretty sure. Well, I know that I've had a few Mohammeds, so I don't know if it was you, but maybe. Danielle says, good afternoon, all. Candace, what is your plan for your investments with September coming? I took advantage of the HHIS drop today. Happy about it. Keeping some cash for September. Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, I'm not doing much for September. The only thing I might do, so we're talking investments, okay? We're not going to talk about the trading stuff. But investment wise, yeah, I'm not going to do a lot. With the 0 to 100K challenge, for example, I did add another share of CN because I got to take advantage while they're down. But for the most part, I'm not going to make a lot of changes. So I know what September is. September to me is there might be some opportunities, but at the same time, it might just turn out to be more of a flat month. Like if it goes into the red, I don't think it's going to go deep into the red. But I also know that there's the possibility I could be horribly wrong, but right now my gut says it's probably not going deep into the red. It could even be a little bit to the green too. So I think we're going to be somewhere, let's just say 0 plus or minus a percent. That's where I'm thinking the month might end. Actually, I might even say bigger possibility for the green. I think towards the end of the month, we could definitely start seeing a bit more green creeping in, for sure. Rory says, I'm waiting for the ex-div date on HYLD. Nice. Yes, absolutely. Vic is here. Hey, Vic. Love it. Always love Vic. Folks, less than 50% like rate. Do your civic duty so Candace can take a sip. Yeah. I'm taking the sip anyway. I'm taking it anyway. It is good. Oops. All right. Had a small drip fall. That's fine. Mary says, agreed. Absolutely. And Jim says, I think that coin targets AI investors for a rug pull. Yeah, and you see, that's exactly what I was thinking about. And guys, in case, if you're just getting here now, when we looked at our crap coin of the day, it had a .ai prefix on it. So it was, what was it, Nas? Nas.ai? So yeah, it felt rug pulley to me, for sure. Rory says, did the like button before I entered chat. Nice. Muggsy in the house with a correction in the markets. Not a correction. It's more of a institutional rebalancing as they sort of shore things up for September. Patricia in here saying, hi, I liked it. Nice. Thank you, Patricia. Mohammed says, if you don't mind me asking, are you based in Canada? Because I reside in Canada and seem to be having a challenge opening a broker account. Any advice, please? Absolutely. So yes, I am based out of Ottawa, Ontario. So I'm not sure what you're trying to open, but if you're trying to open, like Wealthsimple is probably the easiest to open, to be honest. I know that I tried to open a Quest Trade account, and I had a lot of problems with it. In fact, it's still not open. Wealthsimple I find pretty simple, and especially if you're new to investing, I find Wealthsimple probably one of the better ways to go. let me drop a link here in the chat for you. Guys, anytime you want a link, all you have to do, and anyone can do this, if you type in exclamation and like wealth simple, for example, it'll give you the link to go over there. So that link, Mohammed, if you sign up through that, they'll give you $25 for free, which is fantastic. They also throw $25 back at the channel, which is also fantastic. I won't complain about that. I do find them very easy, though. I do find them very easy, and a lot of people in the community use Wealth Simple. So if you ever run into difficulties, you can always ask me, or you could jump on our Discord, for example, and you can get lots of help. You can get lots of help for sure. And I'll get, you know what? In case anybody. And if you ever want the Discord, just type in that exclamation Discord. I'll drop that in there for you as well. All right. A Scratch says, hello, everyone. I hope everyone had a great day. I'm hoping so, too. I had a pretty good day. Today I was scripting. I was scripting Friday's video. Well, I'll actually have it filmed and edited and out tomorrow. So basically, I drop the videos a day before they're released, so that way they're the channel members get about a day, get about roughly a day, almost 24 hours, most times 24 hours, to watch it. So they get an hour, they get a day. What can I say? Mark says, I'm taking a pounding on my MSTE. It's at $13.92. I bought 1,500 shares 3 months ago at $16.34. Oh, yeah, that's harsh. That's harsh, but keep in mind, Mark, as long as you don't sell, you don't realize that loss. MSTE will be back. MSTE will be back. And then, at that point, too, if your nerves are like, maybe MSTE is not the one for me, there are other options, but I think you'll be fine. I think you'll be fine as long as you sort of don't give in to those, those feelings of like fear, uncertainty, doubt. Because, yeah, I can understand that. I think strategy will be fine. Now, keep in mind, too, we typically will get a crypto winter. They come every so often. Sometimes they will coincide with a bear market. Sometimes they'll just do their own thing. So that is another possibility down the road. And when that happens, strategy obviously will be impacted big time because they have a crazy amount of Bitcoin on their balance sheet. So that is something to keep in mind, that you could be looking at a prolonged depression once we get in there. Now, I don't think crypto winter is happening in 2025. If it does, it might happen towards the end of the year. But I'm thinking 2026 right now, just the way things have been going. I'm thinking as well, I still think Bitcoin is probably going to reach that 130 that I had predicted. Now, I know we got close. We got close. But I'm thinking it's still got, I think it's got one more big run before we move into a crypto winter. All right. Brian says, I'm not selling my 100 shares of Palantir. I wish I said that when I had 880 shares at $40 that I sold. Yeah, I can understand that. No, I think Palantir is definitely a smart move to hold on to for sure. Paul says, red. Then I look at how I'm doing since August 31st, 2023 at 70.6% total return. But intraday, August 11th, hit 98% total return. Yeah, and that's a thing. Sometimes you might look at how you're doing lately. And it may not be the best, especially when we go into a bear market. Now, what I will say is when you zoom back out, that's what Paul just did here. When you zoom back out, it's sometimes not as bad as it looks. Like if you've been especially the longer you've been investing. If you've been investing quite literally, if you've been investing more than 5 years and you zoom out, you should have a green number. You should. If you don't, then you might want to look at how you're investing because there might be something going on there. You might be handling your investments too much, or you might be giving into fear, uncertainty, doubt, and selling when you shouldn't. So yeah, if you've got a 5-year history and you're in the red, then there's something wrong with what you're doing. And hey, if you are in that situation, reach out to me. I would, I would like to. I wouldn't mind taking a quick peek at what you're doing because I think there's no reason that should happen. None, zero. Jersky says hello. Got to like a red morning and a green close. Yeah, oh yeah. I like it that I like it that way too because that means there might be some opportunities for some swings if there's some stocks, especially some good stocks in the red that I can grab in the morning and just ride them through the day. See what happens. All right. Going back. Let's go back here for a second. I want to show you something. Here we go. So I talked about this the other day. This was Metro. So Metro, they had their earnings and we had this big dump. Well, I put in a swing trade. I bought some shares down here, and I wanted to get out around, I decided I'd get out around 100, 101. So I did get out. I'm out of that now, but I rode this up. a little bit. So just sort of show the end of that. My big thing with this is that you see these little lines here. I don't know if you can see them. If you're on, whoops, you know what? It helps if I'm sharing the screen. All right, so yeah, once again, here it is, Metro. So there's the big dump they took. Big dump they took on their earnings call. And I bought down in here. And my goal was to ride it back up. And I was thinking, 101, 102, maybe 110. Because I'm thinking, it can get back up to here. But these lines in here, these are the moving averages. They can act as resistance. So because we're underneath it, there might be a pushback. So if they hit it, they might come down. Well, that's exactly what happened today. You'll see that red candle here at the end. I wonder if I can make that one a little bigger. Just give me a second here. Oh, let's go that way. And all right, yeah. There we go. I made it a little bigger. So you should be able to see it. So yeah, this was the rise that they were on. And the lines, you can sort of see the lines are coming in about here. But yeah, they basically came up and then they got bounced. They got turned away. They got turned away at these moving averages. So my thoughts were I ended up selling because I saw these coming. So I ended up selling right here around 101, somewhere right in around here. So yeah, that was that swing trade. I know we've been talking about it a little bit. So what can I say? All right, let's come back. Big. Jim says Q-Day took a huge dive over the last few days. Yes, absolutely. So Q-Day, they're invested in tech. So yeah, they definitely took a bit of a hit from that. So that's a great opportunity if you are into Q-Day. Good opportunity to buy. Good opportunity to buy for sure. Now. Of course, I made my Q-Day purchase for this month a little earlier in the month, so I'm looking at that and saying, gosh, wish I had waited. But I didn't. What can I say? Jersky says, I picked up 10 Q-Day and 25 MSTE this morning. Nice. Buying the dip. Gotta love it. Brian says, I'm waiting for HHIC to come out. I have some cash burning a hole in my pocket waiting for it. Yes, so we know it's coming out in August. I haven't heard anything new. Have any of you guys heard a date yet? Because I have not. And I am on one of their mailing lists. So normally I get stuff, but I haven't gotten anything yet on that. But I am looking for it. Mohammed, first live stream, but I have asked questions, commented on your videos. Okay, I think I knew I recognized your name, but I was like, I don't think I've seen Mohammed in the live stream. Okay, that makes sense. Perfect. That also, because I know how long ago I asked this question, so I know how far behind I am. I'll try to rush up. I'll try to catch up a little bit. All right, Stan says, happy Wednesday. Sebastian says, are you buying EIT? I'm on drip. So EIT, Canoe EIT. I still love Canoe. You know what? It used to be the go-to for income investors back in the day. And when I say back in the day, we're just talking basically back around the pandemic. Now there's so many options out there that you can get some pretty good some pretty good income. But you know what? Canoe is just so friggin' reliable. It's not a bad fund to have. I mean, you get your 10 cents every month, and sometimes you will also get a little bit of a bonus with growth, because lately they have they were sitting for the longest time around 13 something, and now they're up around 15. So that was always good. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Canoe, big fan, and I got them in the challenge. They're one of my I'll never sell stocks. I'll just let them continue to make me that dime every month. I'd love to see it go up to 11 cents, but I don't know if that'll happen. All right. Rory says 38% return on investment on Enbridge for me right now. I might shave off a few shares if it hits 68. Okay, fair enough. And that's part of rebalancing. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, that's fantastic. All right. Defense. 2 days in a row, red. Scary. Nope, not scary at all. It's scary if we don't know what's happening. It's scary if there is a big negative stimulus causing it. In this case here, we know what's happening. We know there's a lot of institutional investors that are pretty much rebalancing and reshuffling portfolios to get ready for September. This is not abnormal. It's not really, and it's really not that concerning. If anything, if you're looking for some better entry points into some of your favorite tech stocks, that's what you're getting. So you gotta like that. That's not too shabby. All right. Jim says, I was a lot of steps to open my Investor's Edge account. It took me about a week from the start till I had an account. Yikes. Yeah, that's a long time. I think when I first started with Wealthsimple, I quite literally was trading in less than an hour from when I began. I mean, I had to go through, upload the ID, and, you got to scroll through all of those pages that you click at the bottom. Yes, I read it. Of course, you didn't read it, but there were a lot of those too. Paul says, when I switched to cover call ETS for income, looking at SPFD for equivalent to cash, Mulf Hill Enhanced Split Preferred Share ETF. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I probably need to do a deep dive on some of these split preferred share ETFs. I know we've got a couple of them out there now. Rory says, brokers also want to make sure you have income and sufficient capital and credit before you can begin. It depends. I guess it depends. I mean, maybe they've tightened things up more than when I was signing up for things like Wealthsimple, but yeah, that could be an interesting that could be interesting as well. Larry is in the house. Just keep swimming and don't get trapped on the top of the hill. Yeah, there we go. I like that. And Mark says, no fear holding MSTE. Thank you for the affirmation. Oh, you're welcome. That's part of what I'm here for. Absolutely. Larry says, I can't wait for everyone to see the doom on the horizon and freak out. Inflation will not be going down. No, I mean, we've still got, even though tariffs right now they're not being talked a lot about in the news at this moment, it's all still happening. It's all still there. Like with Canada here, we still don't have a deal with the United States. And, we've also got, we also have the free trade deal that is set to be renewed in in 2026, July, actually. And that's going to be a cluster and then another word that I don't want to say on the air. But you know what that word is. That's what it's going to be. Bismarcky, good afternoon, all. I've survived another day at work. Well, congratulations. That's the way work is, right? It should be at the end of the day when you leave the office. They give you a little award. You survived one more day. Or it could be almost like, and I don't want to make light of like Alcoholics Anonymous, but you could have Workers Anonymous, and you could get a chip for each day you work, and then increase the number. It's like, yeah, I've been working now for 1,512 days. That would be fun. But once again, I don't want to make light of Alcoholics Anonymous. So I just want to be clear about that. Paul, says, even myself, I started to think MSTE is too risky. Yes, it pays 50% APR dividend. Maybe only way to have MST is in HHIS. Yeah, I mean, I think you can have, I like HHIS just because you do get that whole broad diversification. So in the case here where if strategy is having, having some issues, then you've got the rest of tech to kind of pull things up. So I like that diversification. And it's interesting. I've had a couple comments. So with that new video that came out with the purpose, all those purpose funds, I had a couple of comments saying, why the heck don't they put them all into one ETF as well? So why doesn't Purpose have its own version of HHIS? And I was sitting there and I was thinking about it. And I'm like, you know what? They really should. And I hope this is something that Purpose is thinking about for down the road, because I think that would be a really, really smart move for them to make. And Tom says, Air Canada looks like it might take longer to get in at. I know. I did, not in the challenge, but in another account, I did make a quick, I did get in at like 1890, I think, somewhere's in that vicinity, because it did get down to that today. I did make a play in there, and I'm like, all right, let's just grab it. Let's get at least some profits. So sitting at about 1890, we'll see where it goes from there. Let's see, we're not seeing it. I'm not sure what you're not seeing. All right. Jersky, I tried to get into, I know what you're not seeing. That was when I didn't have the screen up. Jersky, I tried to get into Metro for 98.25 and it didn't hit. So a couple of days ago, I picked up 10 TFII instead. So far, it's looking good. Yeah, I think it is. That's not a bad move either. Paul says maybe HHIC comes out last day of August when the other harvest ETFs have ex-dividend date. That's a smart idea, Paul. That's actually, that would not surprise me. Interesting. Larry says Munger's Daily Journal up from 384 to 462. Money from Canada judicial system is now flowing into its coffers. When is it time to sell? That's a great question. I'm not sure. You might be asking about something we were talking about earlier. Honestly, I don't know. But that's a great question. Just when is it time to sell? And this is what I always say. There's a few reasons I would sell. One, I'm over diversified. So it might be that I have invested in a stock and that stock has done so well that it's now making up a bigger portion of my portfolio than I'd like it to. So there's nothing wrong with taking profits off the top. So let's say, for example, I only wanted 5% of CN. I know that's probably a horrible one to pick because they haven't been doing so well lately, but let's just say CNR turns things around and they fly. Okay, well, maybe not. They chug along the track. And all of a sudden, my 5% holding is now up to 10% because CNR has just absolutely gone crazy. Well, and I'm just using that as, that would mean they doubled in price, but obviously that's not going to happen. But let's just say it did. I would have too much CNR at that point. So I would want to take some profits. Bring my number back closer to the 5%, sell it off, and then I do what I call passive rebalancing. So I will look and say, okay, so CN is over diversified. Who's under diversified? And who's under diversified and maybe at a good value, maybe in a buy the dip situation. So that's what I would do, to take a little bit from CN, sell a couple shares, move it into whoever that other one is. Maybe it's MTSE if that was my other holding right now. That's how I would kind of passively rebalance. So that way it works well that way. I also I'll do the same thing with dividends. I'll take the dividends. Like I don't reinvest my dividends into where they come from. So, I don't drip. Now, mind you, if here's the big if Wealth Simple, or National Bank or one of the Canadian banks if they would let me drip at a discount, like I can get a little bit cheaper if I redrip it into the same stock, I would then consider it for sure. But right now, at least the brokers I have do not give me a discount. So I will basically look at what opportunities are available, and I will move those dividends to whichever makes the most sense. All right. Oh, and right away, Defense gives more information on the question. I mean, is it good to sell when profit is 30% and more before that? Yeah, it's good. There's nothing wrong with taking profits off the table, ever. I mean, if you're selling some profits, now, mind you, and let's put this into perspective, if it's in a non-registered account, you are, of course, when you sell, you are creating a taxable event. So that's, we're talking about, we're talking about capital gains. We're, 50% of that. So let's say you sold $1,000 worth of Banana Co. In the green. Well, you're going to get taxed on 500 of that, half of it, so 500. So yeah, you will create a taxable event if you do it in a non-registered. If you're in your TFSA, then there's no worry. You can sell that. Just be wary that you can't buy that stock back for 30 days. And I always say 31 days just to be safe. Otherwise, you could get dinged for like day trading in your TFSA, and you don't want that to happen. Chances are, though, if you do it once, maybe even twice, you're probably not going to get dinged because they're looking for a pattern. But nonetheless, I wouldn't even do it the once. Just don't even make it a pattern. All right. Let's see here. FUBAR is another term for the trade deal. I love it. It was ice cream truck day. Oh, yeah. Going on a tangent, we have this ice cream truck every summer that used to come through here all the time. I've not yet heard it this year. And we're already coming up towards the end of August. But even last year, quite literally, the ice cream truck, it was still out there in October. So I don't know if the guy who owned it, maybe he couldn't afford to keep going. I just don't know. But yeah, the ice cream truck no longer. Mohammed, how do you get around all the astronomical conversation fees when it comes to purchasing U.S. stocks? Okay, so there's different ways to do it. One, don't buy directly. So, for example, if you're looking like, let's say you want to invest in Microsoft. Well, instead of using a conversion fee to buy Microsoft, you have other options. One of them is CDRs. So a CDR is a certificate of depository receipt. They're provided by CIBC, sells them just like shares, and they have them for a lot of different U.S. stocks, ones like Microsoft. So basically what happens is CIBC, they invest in Microsoft, they buy a whole bunch of it, and then they resell those in these receipts, these CDRs to you, and you get. It's just like owning Microsoft. It moves with Microsoft. It does the exact same thing. You still get the dividends, all of that fun stuff. But you're not dealing with all of these fees. You're not dealing with conversion fees. That's all being handled. That's all being handled by CIBC. Now, one downside, tiny downside, Microsoft has a small dividend. So CIBC will have withholding tax on that dividend. So there's a little tiny bit that is lost. But mind you, it won't be. Because, when I hold, you or I hold a U.S. Stock, we lose 15% to withholding tax. Now, a company like CIBC, there's a lot of the bigger companies have different qualifications so that they can get reduced amounts. So they're probably not paying 15%. They're probably paying they're probably paying about 5% withholding tax on something like that. But that's one option. All right, a second option is, so depending on which broker you're using, so with Wealthsimple, for example, if you have more than $100,000 in Wealthsimple, they'll give you Wealthsimple Pro for free. Otherwise, if you want Wealthsimple Pro, I think they charge $10 a month for it, but there's no taxes on it. It's just a straight up $10. That will give you US accounts. Now, what happens in a US account is you can hold US dollars in it, but you have to move it into them and you will have a conversion fee. So if you're holding a lot of US stocks, a lot of people will be like, well, you know what? Maybe Wealthsimple's not the place to be because of the conversion fees, and that makes perfect sense. What you can do if you want to invest in US stocks directly, a couple of two sites that I'll just mention two. So Questrade and National Bank Direct Brokerage. With both of these, you can do something that is called Norbit's Gambit. So it's basically a trick that you can use where you're journaling stocks that have the same that are the same on both Canada and the US. You're journaling them from one to the other, so you're able to transfer. So you're able to buy the stocks or the ETF, whatever. I think it's a stock. You're buying this stock in Canadian. You're buying it in Canadian. The Canadian version, and then you're transferring it to the American version, and they do that conversion, and then you can sell it over there, and you've got cash on that side, and then you maintain that cash. So that will, you still have to deal with the exchange rate, but you don't have to deal with conversion fees when you're doing that, and there is a little bit of a process to it. I usually will say, if you're interested in Norbit's Gambit, one of the best places to go is actually Canadian in a t-shirt. Just if you put Canadian in a t-shirt in your YouTube search and type in Norbit's Gambit, it'll come up. He has a great video, especially if you're doing it on Questrade. So yeah, that's one way to get around it. The other way, of course, is if you want exposure to the US, you also don't have to even directly invest in any US companies at all. So, we talked about CDRs. Well, the other option is ETFs. So you can get full exposure to the US market through Canadian ETFs. Things, for example, like Hamilton's HYLD. That will give you a very good exposure to, the biggest American stocks. So you'll get full S&P. It's also, I think, a little bit more comprehensive outside of that. But those are some of those options. Now, with that one, you're also getting covered calls. You're also getting a little bit of leverage involved in all of that. So you're getting a whole bunch of income back. But if you just want growth, then probably one of the best stocks out there that you can go with for growth is something like an XEQT. So that there is a all equity ETF. So they will give you full exposure. They'll give you exposure to the US, Canada, and international, so emerging markets as well included in that international. So there's a lot of good options out there, and I have plenty of videos on the channel too that will show you all kinds of different ones depending on what you want to do. Hopefully that answers the question. Oh boy, that was a long answer. Paul says, on the SPFD ETF webpage, the investor package page 8 compares to TSX Composite Index. TSS competent index is swiggly lines and SPFD is a straighter line. Okay, interesting. I have not seen that, but that's interesting. Zinnial, the red this morning hit hard for HHIS. Wish I had a lot more cash on hand. I wasn't able to put a dent in my average cost of $12.85. Yeah, that was the thing. Tech took that heavy hit this morning. So that would have been a really good time, for sure. Mohammed says, do you also trade options? I don't, but we do have a few people in the community who do. I do know about options, but I don't actually do any options trading myself. I tend to let the covered call ETFs do it for me. All right. Brian says, your eye must have lit up when you saw the CN covered call ETF. Yeah, I got excited about that. I actually, that one and the Couche-Tard, I was just like, oh my gosh. Also Dollarama, I was just like, oh, these are some ones I've never seen covered calls on before. Now, mind you, I'm excited about them, but I want to see what kind of dividends they can actually pull off. Because, and I had a few people saying that there's no way they're going to get the same kind of money through premiums that they can get for the US ones. So it's going to be interesting to see what they can pull off. I can't wait to see the data. Normally, And I'll tell you, normally I would not have done videos on these guys until I at least have some amount of data. But there are so many of them that I really thought that I just wanted to get that out there. Get it out there so you guys are ready. And, you know, we'll definitely, I mean, I'll definitely look more at them when we actually have data. I mean, that's going to be kind of cool. All right. Let's see. Crash National doesn't fly unless the trains fly off the rails. It happens. It happens. Oh boy. Let's. And Jim is just reiterating kind of what I was saying. You can buy Canadian ETFs that are listed on the TSX that hold American stocks, and all that's done inside the fund. Yeah, that's probably one of the easiest ways to do it. Rory says derailments happen daily with all 6 Class 1 railroads. 99% just don't hit the news. Okay, fair enough. Well, it depends. Like, normally it's not going to hit the news unless it's a serious derailment. But sometimes it can be a situation where, like, a couple of wheels come off the track and they've got these little cranes that they can send out to put them back to fix them. Normally it's something as simple as that. And yeah, those would definitely not hit the news. Paul says, from Harvest press release, new suite of Canadian Harvest high income shares ETFs on August 19th. And are expected to commence trading on the Toronto Stock Exchange on Thursday, August 21st. Oh, there we go. We have a date. Awesome. Awesome, Paul. There. Yeah, Brian is reiterating it. That will be HHIC and all the sub ETFs. Yes. I'm looking forward to that. That's great. That's good news. That's good news. See, I knew if I asked you guys, one of you guys would come through with that. If it was out there to be found. Let's see. The TFSA, for TFSA, the rules are vague. The 30-day thing seems like pulling in rules for superficial loss. Yeah, no, they're very vague. I don't like the fact that they're vague. I think that's incredibly silly. Because, yeah, when you actually read the official rules, or at least the rules on the Canada.com website, they basically say they look for, they look for people doing business-like activity, like frequent trading and things like that. So they don't really spell out. Now, a lot of the, and I think a lot of people have kind of accepted the 31 day as a general rule of thumb because, yeah, the superficial loss uses that as well. And they tend to be pretty, I would say, reflective of each other. So if they use 31 days on something like that, it's probably going to be the exact same. That's kind of where that's come in. And I think most investors have kind of accepted that as a general rule. And is it 100%? No. Is it 99%? I would say probably close to it for sure. Brian says, I'm going to hold it for a while in my TFSA for dividends. Nice. Jack is in the house saying, selling only initial investment anytime after 7 days from buying in a TFSA and let the profit run it up and compound so they can't even try going after you. Just only do that with great companies. There we go. Rory, I have a TFSA as the investment vehicle. My margin cash options account, newly built, is for trade. Nice. Yeah, exactly. I thought the 30-day rule only applied when it's a loss. So here's the thing. So some people get confused. One thing that people get confused is like, if I buy a stock, does that mean I can't buy the same stock within 30 days? No, you can buy it. You can do dollar cost averaging. Like you can buy it every week if you want to. They're not going to look at that. But when you sell, if you sell it and then buy it back cheaper, they're going to start looking at that. And that's that kind of thing. That's the thing that they're going to be focusing on. So I've looked at cases where they have gone after people. And in most cases, guys, it was very clear cut. Like I know there was somebody who made the news not that long ago, well, probably about a year ago now. He had like about $1 million in his TFSA. And he was doing business activity. He was growing it that way. And he grew it to like $1 million. And they caught him. And, it's not like he's going to jail for it. He's just going to have to pay a lot of taxes on all of that growth. And it's not going to be capital gains. No, hurry. It's gonna be business income. So 100% taxable. So, be careful. It's not that you're going to all of a sudden get hit with a capital gains bill. No, you're going to get hit with a business income bill. Jack says, I don't intentionally trade short term in a TFSA, but if I change my mind or the market sentiment changes, I do 7-day minimum. Yeah. And like I said, if you do it once or twice because, let's say you change your mind or something, you're probably not going to get in trouble. I can't say 100% that you won't, though, but you probably won't. Rory, get your W-8 Ben forms updated when trading in the U.S. Yes, absolutely, because you don't want any tax implications from not having the right forms filled out for sure. Larry says, I hate the fees, currently paying taxes in 7 different countries from dividends and sale of stocks. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And Oman and Saudi, thanks to one of your friends. That's never good. Jack says, I hold the TSX GOOG CDR and I still have to pay the 15% dividend tax in the TFSA. That's interesting. That is very, very interesting. Are you sure that you're paying it, or if it's not just being removed before it comes? I would want to look more into that one, Jack, because because you shouldn't be paying 15% other than depending on how you're coming up with your figure. So if you look at what Google pays and you compare it that way, yeah, you're gonna have taxes that are lost, but that'll also won't even matter where you hold that, because that CDR is not it's coming from CIBC, so any taxes on that is happening between the IRS and CIBC. It's not going to hit you directly per se. You'll get hit indirectly, of course. Brian says, I had Google my RRSP, so no tax, but it's not a lot of dividends anyway on it. It's really not. It's really it's one of those ones that I don't even worry about. If you have HYLD in your TFSA, is it subject to the American withholding fee? No, not really, but this is one of these ones where, once again, so Hamilton's a Canadian company. So when they're holding US stocks in their ETFs, there is withholding tax that happens before Hamilton tells you what your return is. That's already calculated in. So when you look at things like management fees, and you look at like the management expense ratio, that's part of what's built into that. So when it says, there's such and such a percent in there, part of that percentage is things like, for example, withholding tax and things like that. So yes, the IRS still gets a chunk, but when you look at the numbers that Hamilton is giving you, saying this is how much of a dividend you're getting, so what is it, 14 point something, you are not losing any of that. That's exactly what you're getting, is what Hamilton is telling you. And that won't matter if you're holding it in your TFSA or outside of your TFSA or in your RRSP. Well, the only difference is if you're holding it outside of your TFSA, so in a regular cash account, then the Canadian government's going to start wanting its share of taxes. So it'll start pulling some of that. We have to look at the tax breakdown to get the full idea of how many, because some of that will be like return of capital, some of that will be capital gains, and some of that will be foreign income. So that foreign income will get hit 100% taxable. The capital gains, that will be 50% taxable. That'd be the way, just because it's capital gains. The return of capital, this is that interesting thing, that does not get taxed. So any of that is return of capital is tax. It's not, I don't want to say it's tax-free, but you don't pay taxes on that at that point in time. But what that does is it lowers the adjusted cost base. So when you sell that asset, and this is all, guys, this is all outside of a TFSA in a regular cash account, then you'll pay extra capital gains on that. That's where that comes in. So that's why some people say return of capital, very efficient. Very tax efficient. And well, yeah, it is. You are technically not paying anything until you sell that asset. And if it's something that you're planning to hold forever, then you're technically not. Yeah, technically that makes it very tax efficient. Otherwise, you are paying. Well, otherwise it will eventually turn into capital gains, or maybe not. if it's going down, it might turn into capital losses. So, what can I say? All right, I'm gonna skip over anybody talking to anybody who's not me. I'm gonna skip those. Let's see. Jack says I can only use my TFSA until I can get it maxed out. And Mohammed says, thank you so much for an amazing answer. Thank you for taking the time to answer it. Really appreciate your help. I am a complete beginner and learning a lot from your channel. Thanks. Well, you're welcome. You're welcome. That's what we're here for. And like I said, there's tons of content in there. And, when you get confused, if you are a viewer of this channel and you run into some questions, bring them with you to the live stream. I will hopefully have the answers. And every so often, you guys come in with a question I have no clue what the answer to that question is. And if that's the case, I take a screenshot of it and find out. And then, next stream, come on back and I'll have the answer for you. Rory, CRA can be very predatory when trading in a TFSA on a regular basis. Yeah, well, yeah, that's... like I said, the only good thing is they're really looking for patterns. Now, this is one of these things, though, I do think about, is once AI is pretty much doing all of it, will AI be less forgiving? It's always an interesting thing to see. But, yeah, just be careful in your TFSA, guys. That's what it really boils down to. Brian says, when a new ETF comes out, it always sees a significant drop, and a few months after you pick it up, like 50% its opening price, that is when I would start picking up HHIC. So yeah, what you're going to see, and let's pull this up here. All right, and we're going to go. You know what? I know where I'm going to go. No, I don't want to go there. I wanted to actually go next door to it. All right, let's go to, I'm going to open up the whiteboard. Let's pull up the whiteboard. So, and I'm going to bring up a tool. I'll bring up this here. There we go. Yeah, so if you release, and I will draw, I'm going to attempt once again. There we go. Stay out. All right. So yeah, I'm just going to put a little circle here. So this is where, let's say that's where you open up your ETF. And that's where it goes. Well, people get excited about it. So you will almost always notice a bit of a spike almost immediately upon release. And at that point, some of the people who bought it down here, they're starting to sell up here. So you will almost always have a move like this. And then it might start to recover, a move different ways. So I'll just go this way for now. But a lot of times you'll get this initial spike. So what I always say is when they drop a brand new ETF, if you're going to get into it, a couple of options. Like Brian said, if you wait a month, yeah, you're going to have a fairer price. Or if you wait till you see the shape and then it goes down, once it gets down and it starts to turn around, that's not a bad place right in there. If you want to get in right away, that's kind of where I would go. Because this tends to be very, very typical. You'll see this over and over again. And let's give you an example of that. Let's go to, you know what? Why don't we go to HHIS? Because this is HHIC. All right, so we'll bring up HHIS. Go away, advertisement. All right, and let's just go 3 years. And you can see, so here it is. Look at this. There's that initial hype, and then bang. And then it starts moving back into, in this case here, it took a lot longer because you can sort of see this here is over. Let's actually see here. Let's go to 1 year on this one. There we go. This is kind of what I was talking about. Don't look at this big bang, but yeah, here we go. And then this is more realistic. So you got a big hype, and then it came down, and then it started going back up again. So yeah, so if you had bought in here, now, mind you, we had Liberation Day. So you got to kind of ignore this massive, massive drop in here. That has nothing to do with it, because Trump really, Liberation Day really tanked the market big time. But yeah, so up, down, then it will start moving back up again. And then we had this is a black swan event. Kind of similar to the pandemic, to be honest. Although we recovered a lot faster from it than the pandemic. And the pandemic, we recovered from really fast. So yeah, but there's that general look, just a general idea there of what, I don't know if 6 months, if I can see it. No, you can just sort of see. No, you can't. I'm stuck with the 1 year, view to sort of show it. But that happens. It's very, very typical. So you don't want to be that person who buys it up there. You want to be that person that gets in about here. And then if all of this Trump stuff hadn't happened, you can sort of see its fair price already is up in that area. So yeah, that's how I would have done it. All right. So day trading is more like month trading. Well, yeah. Well, technically, month trading is more swing trading. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to do trading in your TFSA, just do long term, like more than a month type things. Like, for example, like with the Air Canada trade, buying Air Canada when it's low and knowing that it's going to get back up to 22, 23, maybe 24, maybe even $25. Knowing that that's going to happen and that's probably going to take a few months, if not more, that's fine. That's fine. It's just they don't want you doing frequent fast trades. And they don't define fast, but, with other things like, for example, superficial losses, 30 days, that tends to be a gauge that if it's more than 30 days, it's not really considered fast. All right. Holy banana bread. You guys have just been absolutely busy today. Busy. Jack says, I don't rebuy the same stock for well over a month. There's plenty of opportunity out there. Yeah. And that's that other thing that I'm always talking about. So, for example, if you want to, let's say the banks are all doing really well. You want to take some profits. And you take some profits, and then all of a sudden the next day, the banks all crash. And you're like, I want to get back in. Well, let's say you were on Royal Bank. Well, you can get back in, just don't get back in on Royal Bank. See what other banks are doing. Maybe National Bank is kind of parroting the same kind of motion. Well, that's a sideways move. You could get in on National Bank and ride that one back up. So there are ways around it. So, you just have to kind of be a little, I don't want to say crafty. I would just say intelligent about it. Brian, apparently there are 2 people in Canada with TFSA over 40 million. Holy banana bread. I would love to have a peek at one of those. Now, those are probably people that went all in on some of the biggest, most massive stocks when they were teeny and got lucky as all, well, I don't know if I'd say lucky, maybe some of the best moves ever made. Let's see. Yeah, it gets removed before it comes. I worded it wrong. Okay, so Brian, and they won't say how, but they did it legally. Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, you can, let's say, for example, if you early in the TFSA, you were investing in the right companies, like, Shopify before it got big, Tesla before it got big, NVIDIA before it got big, you could absolutely create some serious growth in your TFSA. All right, and those are the ones I'm skipping. All right, let's see. There are some stocks like NVIDIA that if you had bought early could get... Yeah, exactly. People speculate as part of a startup. Yeah, that's probably what it is. They picked some really good penny stocks that turned into craziness. Let's see. One day, my Northland Power and Google 80% portfolio will make me a TFSA multimillionaire. Well, you never know. That's the thing. If we all knew, we'd all be rich with you. Defense says Dollarama could get you in millions too. I'm fully bullish on Dollarama. I think Dollarama, they've got a really good business model, so they've been doing well. And now that they have, they bought that chain in Australia, I think there's some room for growth in there for sure. JJ is in the house with a howdy, folks. Have a sunny afternoon over here. Rory says, as Tommy Robbins said again and again, tap the power. Okay, you know what, Rory? I think the power, let's replace that with tap the like button. All right. Working Tools says, please let me know a good ETF for RRSP. Have 20K parked in RRSP for 2 months now, and I'm running out of ideas on which one to get now. I wouldn't hold you to it if it drops. Thanks. I've been meaning to get back to you because I know you left me a message over there on Blossom. I'll try to get back to you this week. We'll have a conversation. We'll talk over there on Blossom. Okay. See if we can get some ideas because I need more information. I kind of need to know what your goals are, and that I don't have. Rory says, what incredible vehicles we have to obtain financial freedom. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love, the power, going back to tap the power, but the power is there. We all have that power to take control. And that's one of those things, like when you look at financial education, the fact that I know myself going through school, nothing. They didn't, like most people graduating high school when I graduated, didn't even know how to do their taxes. Didn't have a clue. What can I say? So, yeah, the power's there. The information is there. And, it's not hard. It's not hard, but it does require a little bit of dedication for sure. Let's see. Do you think Canada will ever allow crypto or certain crypto in a TFSA? Not for a long time. Not in a direct crypto form, but you can hold spot Bitcoin, spot Solana, spot Ethereum, spot XRP in your TFSA now. So you can technically have Bitcoin in there. But if you're thinking like almost like having a wallet within your TFSA, I don't see that happening for a while. I'm not saying it never will, but I don't see it as anything that will happen within the next 5 years. Rory says, I'll work until I'm dust. All right. Paul says, if you convert your RRSP to an RRIF this year, can you still withdraw from the RRIF in 2025? In an RRSP, if you withdraw, the broker usually charges $50 each time. RRIF has no withdrawal fees. Interesting question. You know what? I said, guys, I will get questions that I don't know the answer to, and this is one of them. Let me look into that one, Paul. I'm gonna get my little clicker out, and I'm just highlighting the message. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that one because I do not know. I legitimately have no clue. Let's see. There are 2 million Canadians that each have 42 million in their TFSA and not breaking any rules. I thought I saw that one before, but yeah. Debating making the Church of Larry to stop paying any taxes at all. Well, why not? If it works, if you can get away with it. I hate paying taxes, so. Mohammed says, we have an RESP with RBC. A portion of it is sitting in cash. Can I invest that in other stocks, ETFs? Well, you should be able to. I can't see why not. That's kind of what the whole idea is now with an RESP, though. I will tell you this. When you're looking at your kids' futures, so you kind of want to take a strategy, especially early, depending. This is kind of like how long, like how old are your kids? If your kids are pretty young, you want to kind of treat it like that. Like if you got a long runway, then you really want to be looking at some good, strong, fundamental dividend growth stocks that are going to really crank out some high total returns, because then you can build that up before they get to that point where they're going to start to need it. So something to think about, just something to think about. Make churches great again. Oh boy. Just hire a mega church pastor. Let's see. I will join the Church of Larry to help make it seem more official. Well, Jack, I think you're in Canada, right? That would make it international at that point. The International Church of Larry. There we go. Just stand on stage and knock people down. I don't know about that, but Defense, thanks for all your answers. Really helps. They are so foggy with the TFSA. Keep the good work, and thanks so much for your time. Your tips are really educating. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. Sooner or later, if this bull run, the CRA will have a case that forces them to provide clear-cut, solid rules. I would definitely fight the CRA to the federal court. Yeah, I think that they're going to have to really clean up their rules and regulations. I think that should be a given. I think they should absolutely, especially with because everything has changed, especially with crypto. And I imagine there's a lot of people who've made money on Bitcoin who haven't claimed it. Oh, I guarantee you, there's a lot of people that have not claimed those taxes, and I don't think the CRA is kind of set up to really catch them. To be honest, I really don't think they are. So I think they really need to clarify. I think they need to streamline. I think they need to make things a lot clearer. 100%. Rory says Northern Power or Capital Power? Yeah. Tough choice. Larry says in BC, combined tax rates are 22.2% over $49,279 up to $57,375 and 28.2% over $57,375 up to $98,560. Keep your income under $57,375 in retirement, or what is an extra 6% between friends? Well, that's the thing. I mean, I look at it this way. Sometimes it's not always a bad thing that you get bumped up into a next tax bracket if if your life is better and you are just making a ton of money. It's not always a bad thing, but I still hate to pay taxes. Martin says, you always do a great job at explaining, Candace. It's on us if we don't listen. Okay. There we go. I like that. It's a good answer, Martin. Let's see. Northern Power, 100% for me. I love the compounding monthly 5% dividend, and it's very undervalued currently with their Hai Long and Baltic Power projects. I do like Northland Power. I will definitely say that for them. Let's see, I'm less than 1% cash and 47.3% Northland. Now, I probably wouldn't go that heavy into diversification, but diversification is important to me, but it may not be as important to you. And that's fair. That's fair enough. Rory says I'm sticking with Capital Power. All right. Let's see. Please invite Stock Trades Canada and Adriano for a debate. Topic will be covered. Call ETF. I actually did have last Thursday. I had Adriano on the channel. So if you have not caught that yet, guys, just go to the live stream tab in YouTube, and it's not that far back. It was a great show. I loved having Adriano over. It was great. It was actually great. I loved it. Rory says everyone has something they're married to. Yeah, probably. Dan Kent would be a great invite. I think so. Yeah. No, and that's the whole idea. With this week conversations, that's what I'm calling these. So I've had 2 so far. The first one was Brandon Beavis. The second one was Adriano. So yeah, I haven't figured out yet who the third one is yet, but I have to figure it out, and then I gotta get them to say yes. So I got 2 things to do. But yeah, I definitely want to see more of those. So far, the first 2, I've had one in July and one in August. I don't know if I'm having one in September yet or not, but they're going to be no schedule to them, but I would like to have them at least every couple of months. That's my goal. I'd like to at least have one latest by October, another one. And who will it be? I've had a few people make some suggestions. I've heard a few people saying it's got to be Canadian in a t-shirt. Well, maybe. We'll have to see. Paul says, but the Liberals want to revoke charitable status for religious organizations, no matter the type. Remember, the Liberals made the summer jobs program to make the employers say they support abortion. All right. I don't remember them saying that, but yeah, it's what can I say? Let's see. I wouldn't say married when she pays me every month instead of the other way around. It's hard to let her go. There we go. Capital Power has a 6% increase in div as well. Nice. I love those dividend increases. Cat says, when you convert your RRSP into an RRIF, you are expected to make a minimum withdrawal within the next calendar year. It can be spread out monthly or all at once. Yes. So yeah, you have, and it's set up as a schedule. So, and the percentage actually increases as you go further into age for sure. Canadian in a t-shirt next, says Xenial. I'll have to talk to Adrian. I'll have to ask and see if we can fit it in. I'll have to ask and see. But yeah, I mean, he's on my list. There's a few people who I also want to get in as well. He is definitely there for sure. Let's see. That is some very good looking div growth on ZPX. How about the founder of Blossom? So yes, Max. I could probably get Max on, but we'll see. Right now, the one thing is that Max, he kind of doesn't really have a giant YouTube presence, so I'm trying to keep it kind of into a YouTube type scenario. But I do like that. Now, mind you, Mohammed, I did have Brandon Beavis on. We did talk about Blossom quite a bit because he is. He's not technically the founder, but he is very much. He bought into it right away, so he's kind of like the co-founder. He very much is. So that if you want more information on Blossom, that's a great live stream to check out. Let's see. Libs still have destructive policies still in place. Well, now that we got Parliament coming back in the fall. And we also have, as you guys probably know, Pierre won his seat, so he's gonna probably he's probably gonna hold them accountable. So we'll have to see how that's all going to look. I do like one thing. I like. We seem to be getting a softer Pierre coming back to the House, and he did say, in his acceptance speech, he said, or his victory speech, I guess, he said. That he's willing to work with anybody. He's willing to work with Carney. And that's what I want to see. I want to see, cross-party work. I want to see them working together to try to get things accomplished for Canada. So I like that. I like that a lot. All right. A reminder to everyone that MPs in the House of Commons Parliament get paid $195,000 a year. Holy banana bread. That's a lot. I think that feels a little excessive. I will say that for sure. Stan says, what are your thoughts on CNR? I still love them. They are still they're still part of our backbone. So when it comes to a supply chain, they are a backbone, not just for the supply chain, but also for our critical mineral sector. So I have no worries about CN. CN is a fantastic stock, and when they're down, only thing on my mind is how many should I buy? Not, oh my God, they're down. So yeah, I'm fully on board with CNR. All right. Defense says, what's Blossom? All right. Let me drop a link here for you first. All right, I'm dropping you my link over here for Blossom. So Blossom. It's a social media app that is designed for investors. And let me show you, because I have it over here. And so this here is Blossom. Right now we're sitting in, this is the 0 to 100K challenge. So the 0 to 100K TFSA challenge on this channel, I keep it updated on Blossom. So you can see right here, this is showing you what is currently in that portfolio. So these are all of the different stocks in that portfolio. But I'll go back to the home page. So as I mentioned, it is like social media apps, but these are all investors. So they're talking about stocks. So like here's the first one, ETF splits, QQQ to lower expense ratio, 400,000. There's Maxwell, by the way. He's that person that that Mohammed was suggesting I have on. So yeah, this is just. It's really, really good. Now, in addition to all of this, you can attach your portfolio, or you can manually set it up, or you don't have to do either. You can come in and just use the chat part. JJ, who was on here a moment ago, he's the mod. He's got a nice little series that he's doing on here where he is basically posting about his financial journey each day. So a nice long post, very, very in depth. So there's a lot of great things in here. Now, you got all kinds of stuff that you can do. You can go to the Learn section. It hasn't been set up yet on the desktop. They just rolled the desktop out. So some functions are not fully working yet on the desktop, but on your phone and tablet, everything works. They've got a Learn section, so you can go in there and you can actually make money on there by learning, because they will have, like for example, if BMO comes out with a new ETF, they may put up an informational thing where you just watch it and they'll pay you 50 cents for watching it. And that adds up. It goes into your little thing, and then you can make a withdrawal whenever you want. If you're watching a bunch of the Learn videos and some of that, it's kind of like you're being paid to watch a commercial, but they also usually make them educational. There's just a lot of different things on there that sort of add up. Now, one of the things I like is I'm over there, and if you do sign up, if you go over and check it out, Defense, follow me, please, because I'll follow you back. Because here, this list right here, this here is the list I look at. I don't even go through the main feed. I go through the people I'm following. And, look at this, Farak. Farak followed me. I got to go back. I got to go over to Farak here, and I'm going to give Farak a follow. There we go. Because, I want to see the people who are following me, and I want to see what they're posting. And the reason is, this community, if they're over there, they're following me, and I can check out what they're posting, and I can throw in my 2 cents here and there. But yeah, so you can sort of see. And I just will go through here and just check. I'm trying to see if any of you guys are in here. Any of you guys who are regulars that pop up. I'm not seeing a regular. Oh no. Yes, here's one. We just talked about JJ. So here's JJ. So yeah, TFSX Mastery, your tax-free powerhouse unlocked, and this is his article for each day. So he's putting a bunch of information in there. A lot of it is really good for beginner investors. You'll notice too, he posted under beginner investors. So you can go, for example, if you want things that are just more beginner related, you can go over there, check out beginner investors. So anyway, go explore it, check it out. It is it's awesome. It's awesome. All right. Oh my God, this is turning into a longer one, guys. It's that's fine. Rory says, Pierre is back, baby. Can't wait for question period. Yeah, me too. I kind of, it'll be interesting to see if he maintains that softness going into question period, because he always had a little bit of a tongue, for sure. All right, let's see. Sneaky One says, the whiner is back. The grifter offers no positive value to Canada. All right. So yeah, see, and we got people. That's what I love with this community. I got people here on the left, on the right, in the middle. I respect. And guys, I always will say this: respect everyone's views, right, left, center. Here, first and foremost, we're all investors, and we can make money off of the right, we can make money off of the left, and we can make money off of the center. So there we go. Scotty's old-timey channel. What about Adam from Parallel Wealth for us U.S. retirees? Yeah. I like Adam. I like Adam a lot. So maybe, you know what, Scott? That's not a bad suggestion. Not a bad suggestion. I do like Adam from Parallel Wealth. And I know, I think about 15% of my audience is from the U.S. I think it's roughly 15%. So, yeah, I definitely would love to get somebody in from the U.S. Absolutely, and even from the core Canadian crew. You know what? Finance is finance, and a lot of the principles in Canada and the U.S. are absolutely entirely the same. Jack says we need strong opposition to hold our corrupt government accountable. Yeah, always. I like strong. Absolutely. Brian says, don't forget the MP pensions that none of us will see anything like in the private sector. Oh boy, yeah. I hear ya. Isaac says, I made two mistakes. I intended to sell and press the buy button instead, and then sold it not realizing it was on my TFSA. Then I forgot and bought more. That happens. That does happen. I mean, I've done it. I've done it where I've quite literally accidentally went into the buy when I was meant to be in the sell, and I thought I was selling a whole position, but I just doubled the position. It happens. Yeah, and that's why if it happens once or twice, yeah, there's human error. They're not going to come at you for human error. They're looking for a pattern. They're looking for a pattern. Let's see. Oh, for sure, they get so many benefits. Rory says Nancy Pelosi was known for that insider stuff. Yes, I think there's I think there's some funds out there that track Nancy's activities on the stocks. Blew my mind to find out MPs get a full 10-week summer break like school kids do while making $195K a year minimum plus benefits. Yeah, I can understand that. Well, keep in mind, though, that big break that the MPs get, they are expected to spend a little bit of time with their constituencies. So back at their home offices, they are expected to do some work. But yeah, other than that, it's still, yeah. Let's see. Mark Carney is the Canadian Nancy Pelosi. Just copy his holdings. Well, it's in a blind trust. It's hard to copy them. Rory says, no wonder they are so uneducated and out of touch. It will be nice when Blossom works all of the bugs out of it on Android and PC. The app still crashes a lot on my Android phone, and it still needs work on PC. Yeah. It's only been recently that some of the functions that I wanted to have on the PC the most, like, for example, being able to go in and edit my portfolio, that I like. So they are still working on it, and it's getting better. It keeps getting better, so it'll get better. It'll get better. Let's see. Half our government probably thinks AI is A1 sauce. That's funny. I was talking to my mom once, and my stepdad, his name was Al. Now, he's no longer with us, but at one point I was talking to her about AI, and she thought I was talking about him. I was like, no, I didn't say Al. I said AI. But, oh, well. Rory, Blossom is dead to me at the moment. I'm only on desktop. Yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, but it is getting better, and I am constantly, every time I have a chance to talk to some of the higher-ups at Blossom, I'm like, come on, guys. More focus on that desktop. So, the EV mandate. Nope, not going to start on that one. Okay. Probably good. Let's see, check mine and let me know what you think, please. Yeah, what you could do, let me know on Blossom if you're hooked up. First of all, hook yourself up to Blossom so that I can see it on Blossom. And if you are amenable, let me know if I can actually look at yours on one of the streams. Because on Sunday, I don't mind doing that. I sort of said if anybody wants to, I'm willing to do one each Sunday, but no more than one, because But yeah, if you're amenable to that, let me know, and we'll do it. We need to do it this Sunday. All right. Let's see. Whoops, I almost missed this one. Jack says, at the end of the day, we all value getting our wealth and health up. Yeah, for sure. Rory says, I'm just a crusty Gen X, or grew up on oil, gas, and guns in the West. There's nothing wrong with being a Gen X. Gen Xers rock. Jack says, I could never own an EV. Bring back the stick shift so people won't just sit on their phones while driving. I can't drive a stick shift, so I don't know if I want them back. But hey, if somebody wants a stick shift, why not? All right, let's see. Ask Putin for Nancy Pelosi's laptop. By the way, on Blossom, on the where did you hear from us? Influencers doesn't work. Oh, really? Oh, boy. That's always... Yeah, but you know what? If you used my link, it should automatically know. Yeah. That's probably it. You're probably on the desktop. That's one part they should get it to work. I'll definitely make them let them know that. All right, guys. Holy banana bread. These shows are only these ones don't go an hour or 40 minutes, but that's fine. You guys were awesome as normal. I love it. I love it. We are going to well, it looks like we didn't get any of the supers today, so we won't have a show on Friday, but we will be back on Sunday for the big show this week, and tomorrow night, guys, for the channel members. We will have an exclusive live stream for you guys at 7 p.m. And what I love about that is because there's a lot less channel members, we can, it's not as busy. So we can really get into in depth on anything that you guys want during that stream. It'll be fantastic. So I will see some of you guys tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern. Until then, guys. I will see the rest of you on Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your week. Have a fantastic weekend. We're running out of summer weekends, so enjoy it while it lasts. Oh, I gotta be big screen. I can't leave if I'm not big screen. It's just, I don't know what it is. It's like, it's so impersonal leaving if I'm not big screen. Jack just throws in, thanks for the stream. Yep, always have a great week. All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll see you guys again pretty soon. All right, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.